My name is Sally, and I worked in early childhood education for well over 30 years, 35 years, more than that actually, and about 30 of those I worked at the same child care center, and I've read many, many, many children's books. So I would like to review books on this channel, and so today's book will be Sneeches and Other Stories by Dr. Seuss. A lot of people love him, a lot of people don't like him. I'm one who really loves him. So this is one of my favorites. Actually, I've read this book so many times, I can do each story without even looking at the pictures or reading the words. So the first one's the Sneeches. I also want to mention that I'll put a link to it in the description, but there is a video. It's got Sneeches, another story from this book, the Zacks, and Green Eggs and Ham on it. So that's kind of a fun little video. It takes these pictures. Each one is very short. It's just the narration of the book in it. I think the Sneeches one has a couple little songs in it, but it's not like a full-length feature. They were just very short and very true to the actual book and the artwork. So those are fun to watch too with kids. So you may or may not know the Sneeches are bird-like creatures. Some have stars and some do not. So the story goes on. It talks about how the star-belly Sneeches were very kind of snobbish. They always left the plain-belly Sneeches out. They would play games and they would never invite the plain-bellies and have picnics or parties or marshmallow roasts. They never invited the plain-belly Sneeches. So it just goes on like that. Talks about how unhappy the plain-belly Sneeches were. And actually, at some parts of the book, I do like to stop the story and say, like when I get to this page, I say, you know, the plain-belly Sneeches could have a party of their own and invite the star-bellies and try to get to know them that way. I don't like to just, there's bigotry, it's kind of, we're talking about bigotry here and leaving out a certain aspect of people, in this case creatures, simply because of one thing, the way they look or what have you. So, I like to impress on the kids that it goes both ways. You can, even though they're leaving you out for no good reason, you can at least try to make friends with them. But then along comes Sylvester McMonkey McBean, and he's going to tell the plain-belly Sneeches, I have the answer to all your troubles. And so he makes a machine that will put stars on their bellies. So now they look like the other Sneeches, and now you can't tell them apart. So then the star bellies are mad. They're like, well, we're still the best. And so McBean makes a machine that takes off stars. Then, of course, as you probably guess, things really got into a horrible mess. So it keeps going back and forth till, oh, and of course he charges money for each service, right? So, off again, on again, in again, out again. Through the machines, they raced round and about again, changing their stars every minute or two. They kept paying money. They kept running through. Well, when I get to this part, I've done it for so many years. When I have a group of kids with me that I've read to many times, I'll ask them, do you want me to read this part fast or slow? Of course, they always want me to do it fast. So I've gotten so good at it, I can read this part really fast. And I, wave my hand around and it's just kind of a fun thing to do with them. Also, what I like to do with this story is I always had little felt green stars, a bunch of them, and I passed them out to my group of kids, and we'd say, okay, you're going to start out. Are you a star-belly Sneech or a plain-belly Sneech? And since it's felt, it sticks to their clothing, and so we put it on, and then when we're going through this page, we take it on and off, right? Take it on and off, take it on and off. And then when we're done, some have it on and some have it off. So, we stop and look and talk about that. So that's kind of fun. And then when every last cent of their money was spent, the fix-it-up chappie packed up and he went. And there they are, all sad. And now they're so mixed up, they don't even know who's a plane or who's a star. And so they have to make friends because they don't know if that's my friend or not my friend. So they shake hands and they make friends and they realize there's really no difference. We're all just the same. And that's kind of fun too. So That's Sneeches. I like that one. And the kids like it too. The next one is the Zacks. And it's about two creatures. They're Zacks, a north-going Zacks and a south-going Zacks. And they bumped. And neither one will step to the side to let the other one pass. They're both very stubborn. So it's basically a story about being stubborn and how if you can't give, if nobody will move to the side, even just a little bit, nothing happens. You just stay there. And they keep yelling at each other. I never take a step. I never take a step to the east or the west. I just stay here, you know. So they stood there not moving, and the world grew, and the new highway came through, and they built it right over those two stubborn Zacks. So there they are, standing unbudged in their tracks. Now this one is a lot of fun. Too many Daves. Mrs. McCabe had 23 sons, and she named them all Dave. And sometimes when I'm reading this, I'll take a name from one of the children in the group. Let's say Jimmy's having a rough day that day, and he just needs a little extra something special happen to him. So I'll say, did I ever tell you that Mrs. McGimmie had 23 sons, and she named them all Jimmy? Or did I ever tell you that Mrs. McGana had 23 daughters, and she named them all Dana? Like that. So, because the children are kind of sort of androgynous, so they could be boys or girls. And when she wants one, she calls out, "Yoo-hoo, come into the house, Dave," and they all come. So then she thinks, gee, I should have given them different names. And so there's a whole list of silly names that she could have named them. And as I read them, I don't point directly at any specific child, but I sort of point in a general direction because, you know, I might have more than 23 children in the room. So, you know, one of them Who's Foos and one of them Snim, one of them Hotshot and one Sunny Jim. And there's a couple of them. There's one called Stinky. I never point to anybody on Stinky. I just go, and one of them Stinky, and hold my nose. And it's just kind of funny, and the kids tend to stop and they laugh with each one. So you have to read this part kind of slow. One of them Ziggy, one Soggy Muff, one Buffalo Bill, and one Biffalo Buff. And then the last one, and one of them Zanzibar Buck McFate. But she didn't do it, and now it's too late. So it's kind of fun to play with that one, and you know, and just you involve the children in it. You know, they just really love that one. Now this one is one of the kids' favorites. What Was I Scared Of? And it's about a little guy, and he's walking in the night, and he saw nothing scary. He's never been afraid of anything, not very. And I was deep within the woods when suddenly I spied them. I saw a pair of pale green pants with nobody inside them. And so it appears that he's very frightened by these pale green pants with nobody inside them, and he runs away. And he has each night he goes out, he comes across these pale green pants. They're riding a bike here, and he's becoming more and more frightened by them. They're rowing a boat, and he hides from them. He had to go out, and so he's picking a peck of snide in a dark and gloomy snide field that was almost 9 miles wide. And he keeps going, and he touches the pale green pants, and he screams, and he shrieks, and he howls, and he yells, and he cries. And then he realized the pants were afraid of him, and the pants were whimpering. And he realized that he didn't really know why he was afraid of the pale green pants. And the pants were just as scared as I. So he sat right down, put his hand around their waist. And so just because someone or something looks different or strange to you doesn't mean they can't be a friend. And you can always say hi. So, and now we meet quite often, those empty pants and I. We never shake or tremble. We both smile and we say, hi. So that's another one of my favorites. I like to read that one. So overall, I like all the stories in this book. The kids, when I read it to them, they have a lot of fun listening to it. And anyway, that's it. One of my favorites. See you next time.